Mark Hunter was an ordinary high school student living in a sleepy suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. His life seemed monotonous and boring. He went to school, talked with friends, but inside he was seething with emotions that he could not express. Mark was a shy guy who could not openly express his thoughts and feelings. So one day he decided to create his own radio station in the basement of his parents' house to be able to talk about what worried him. Mark called himself the voice of the night, and every night when the city fell asleep, he began broadcasting. The theme song of his radio station was known to everyone, a melodic composition by Leonard Cohen everybody knows, which set the tone for the entire broadcast. Mark played the music that he loved himself, tracks by such bands as the Jesus and Mary Chain, Camper Van, Beethoven, Primal Scream, Soundgarden, Ice-T, Bad Brains, Concrete Blonde, Henry Rollins, and Pixies. These performers expressed the same emotions and experiences as Mark himself in his programs. Mark discussed various topics, from school problems to deeper questions of life. He talked about what worries young people, their fears, aggression, the desire to be heard. Mark became a real hero for many of his peers. They listened to his programs and found answers to their questions in them. Some even began to write him letters, expressing their gratitude and support. However, not everyone was happy with the appearance of the voice of the night. The school principal, Deutschman, began to notice changes in the behavior of the students. He realized that someone was influencing their consciousness and decided to find this person. Deutschman was a strict person who believed in order and discipline in the school. He did not tolerate any manifestations of dissent and believed that everything should be under control. Mark continued to host his radio show, although he knew that every day he risked being exposed. He was afraid that someone would find out his secret and then everything would end. But at the same time, he couldn't stop because it was the only way he could express himself. Mark became popular among his peers, and many of them began to perceive him as an authoritative person who spoke the truth. One evening, Mark received a letter from a girl named Norma Watson. She was new to school and was having a hard time adapting to her new environment. Norma wrote that she felt lonely and couldn't find friends. She asked Mark for advice, and he answered her live on air, telling her a story about how important it is to believe in yourself and not be afraid to be yourself. This program helped Norma, and she began to change. She became more confident and opened up to other people. Norma began to follow Mark's programs, and soon they met in person. She was surprised to learn that the voice of the night was an ordinary guy she had seen at school. But this did not stop them from becoming friends. They began to spend time together and discuss various topics. Norma helped Mark work on the radio station. She was full of energy and ideas, which made their work together even more interesting. However, the situation around the radio station was becoming increasingly tense. The city authorities began to actively search for who was behind this pirate broadcast. They understood that someone was breaking the laws and should be punished. The police began an investigation and installed special devices to find the source of the signal. Mark understood that time was working against him and he had to be careful. One night, when Mark was broadcasting again, his signal was intercepted by the police. They were able to determine the location of the radio station and went to the house where Mark lived. Mark's heart was beating fast. He understood that if he was found, the consequences would be serious. He tried to quickly hide the equipment, but it was too late. The police entered the house and began to search the basement. When they found the transmitter and microphone, Mark realized that it was all over. He was prepared for the worst, but at that moment something unexpected happened. Norma came to his aid. She was able to distract the police while Mark destroyed the records and hid the evidence. When the police returned to the basement, they found nothing but old equipment that could not serve. This story became a turning point in Mark's life. He realized that despite all the difficulties, he should not stop. He must continue to tell the truth and help people. Norma supported him in this decision, and they decided to work together on a new project that would unite everyone who wants to change the world for the better. After some time, Mark and Norma organized a meeting of all those who listened to the voice of the night. They gathered in the park and began to discuss various ideas and plans on how to make their lives better and more interesting. This meeting became a symbol of the unity and strength of youth. They understood that only together they could achieve a lot. Mark continued to host his radio program, but now he did it not alone, but together with Norma. Their broadcasts became even more interesting and rich. They discussed not only school problems, but also more global issues, such as ecology, social justice, and human rights. Their programs attracted the attention of not only young people, but also adults who were also looking for answers to their questions. Soon Mark and Norma became famous in the city. People began to turn to them for help and advice. They became real opinion leaders who changed the world around them. Their work at the radio station became an example for many other people who wanted to express themselves and find their way in life. However, not everyone was happy with the success of Mark and Norma. Some of their peers were jealous of their popularity and tried to blacken their name. They spread rumors and false accusations, but Mark and Norma did not pay attention to it. They knew that they were making the right choice and continued to move forward. Over time, Mark and Norma became closer. Their friendship grew into a romantic relationship. They understood that they had found in each other not only a comrade in the struggle, but also a true friend who would always be there in difficult times. Their love became a source of inspiration and strength that helped them overcome all difficulties. One day, Mark and Norma decided to organize a large festival that would unite everyone who wanted to change the world for the better. They invited musicians and public figures who supported their ideas. The festival became a big event, attracting the attention of the whole city. People came from all over to listen to the performances and discuss important issues. The festival was a success and became a symbol of the unity and strength of youth. Mark and Norma realized that they had achieved a lot and that their work was meaningful. They continued to host a radio show and organize events that helped people find themselves and change the world around them. Several years passed and Mark and Norma became adults. They continued to do what they loved, helping people and changing the world for the better. Their radio station became famous far beyond their city. They received many awards and recognition for their work, but most importantly, they were able to leave a mark on the hearts of people who listened to their programs and drew inspiration from them. Mark and Norma understood that their work was not limited to one city or country. They wanted their ideas and values to spread throughout the world. They began to collaborate with international organizations and social movements that also fought for justice. Over time, Mark and Norma became recognized opinion leaders. Their voices were heard on the largest platforms in the world. They spoke at conferences and forums, shared their experience and knowledge with other people who wanted to change the world for the better. Their work became an example for many other people who wanted to express themselves and find their way. So Mark and Norma were able to make their dreams come true. They became those who changed the world for the better and help other people find themselves and their path in life. Their story became a symbol of hope and inspiration for everyone who believes in the power of words and the ability to change the world around them.